campus of Illinois State University. It is Missouri Valley Conference basketball. Etna proudly presents the Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week, Northern Iowa and Illinois State. And with Rich Savosik, I'm Tom Ackerman. Great to have you along for Valley Basketball. Redbird Arena, it's retro night. So we have retro day. So we have 1970s theme, music, uniforms. And what about the teams going ahead today?
Well, fortunately for both of these teams, we are playing by modern-day rules. That means a three-point line, and these two teams have taken advantage of the three-point line. Northern Iowa leads the conference in threes made for the entire season, while Illinois State leads the conference in three-pointers made during conference play.
Northern Iowa has not lost 4 in a row since 2010-11, and to win it today, they need some great play out of many of their players, including Jeremy Morgan.
Well, Jeremy Morgan has been the utility guy. He does a lot of things well. He'll rebound the basketball. He plays tremendous defense, usually takes the lead guy for the opponent. Capable three-point shooter, also very good around the basket. He is playing hurt, but he's got to play well today.
Averaging over 15 points per game for Illinois State is Devon Akun-Purcell, an outstanding scorer for this Redbird team.
Akun-Purcell can score in boatloads, and he's also a very good offensive rebounder. He showed it a couple nights ago against Bradley with a key offensive rebound, three-point play to help the Redbirds beat their arch rival. But he's another guy like Morgan who really sets the tone for this Redbird squad.
Illinois State 4-3 in Valley play. Northern Iowa is 2-5. The Panthers, the Redbirds, next. Redbird Arena, Illinois State University. We're ready for Valley basketball. The Panthers need a win. Visiting Illinois State, Ben Jacobson of Northern Iowa. In his 10th season, the all-time wins leader at Northern Iowa. A top 10 team last season. Struggling right now, even though the Panthers beat North Carolina, the #1 team in the nation at the time. Beat Iowa State. Northern Iowa, for whatever reason, struggling offensively, missing shots. Here are your starting lineups. Presentation of Casey's General Store. Casey's, famous for pizza. Jesperson, Bohannon, Washpin, Morgan, and Cook, all important on the floor today offensively for Northern Iowa to get the scoring going. Illinois State led by Akun-Purcell. Deontay Hawkins can absolutely light it up. Paris Lee, their floor general, Wills, and McIntosh. Dan Muller, 4th season, former Redbird player, led them to the NCAA tournament in 1998. 12 years as an assistant at Vanderbilt, learned the coaching ranks, and here he is leading the Redbirds today in a big game at home. It's retro day, the uniforms, the candy striped shorts. Oh, I like them.
Tom, you're only saying that because you're an Indiana University alum. That's what they still wear.
You got that right. Those warm-ups are the best. Let's take a look at our keys to the game, made possible by Grinnell Mutual Insurance, where we provide a policy of working together.
For Northern Iowa, it's movement in space. They must get better people movement in the half court offensively so they don't revert back to just watching Washpin try and beat somebody off the dribble, and then conversion from offense to defense. Illinois State likes to push the pace. Got to get back on D. Illinois State, it's about creating some paint points. You don't have a 5-man, a true post-up guy. Got to get it a different way.
Cook against Hawkins, a couple of leapers, and Cook wins the tip, and Northern Iowa controls on Doug Collins Court. Great to be with you for Valley basketball from Illinois State. Great tradition here, great crowd here on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, Illinois State starts in a matchup zone. Got to locate shooters.
The toss goes out of bounds. The call is Illinois State ball. Northern Iowa has struggled shooting the basketball, even though UNI right now, #1 in the Valley in terms of three-pointers made. 172 have gone down for Northern Iowa.
Tom, you're talking about two coaches who have changed game plans. Northern Iowa, normally a man-to-man defensive team, comes out in a 2-3 zone. And as Ben Jacobson said to us before the game, he watched the Evansville contest and saw that Illinois State struggles because they are not capable of making shots consistently.
Lee with the miss for Illinois State. Morgan the toss inside, and that one won't go down for Cook. Good passing around the perimeter for Akun Purcell, the miss.
Terrific ball movement on that possession. They'll get rewarded if they keep doing that.
Ben Jacobson, the unflappable coach, has had his team playing so tough through the years, now challenged with a 2-5 conference record. Washpin is the man they go to. Jesperson. And the team's cold early on.
And that's why they have struggled. Jesperson, who was automatic in the non-conference season, has really struggled shooting the basketball.
Going right around Cook was Akun Purcell. Couldn't get that one to fall.
Illinois State comes back in the second straight possession of man-to-man. If you're Northern Iowa, you've got to get ball movement and people movement. It can't be a breakdown dribble type of game for Wes Washpin.
Another try, and this one falls for Jesperson.
If you're Ben Jacobson, you're feeling a little bit better because Jesperson has got to find his rhythm for this Northern Iowa team to recapture the offensive magic they had early in the season.
The seniors find each other. Washpin to Jesperson. The bounce inside. No for McIntosh, but the putback. Kyle McIntosh, big bruising forward from Ontario. Only a sophomore. They come from all over the map to play for Illinois State. Washpin.
Northern Iowa is going to stay in the 2-3 zone. You got to try and find the high post area and then look straight down or look opposite.
McIntosh showing some range, and Bohannon grabs it and gives it to Washpin. Washpin averaging 14.5 points per game, leading scorer on the Panthers. Matt Bohannon at just over 12 a game, their three-point specialist. This is Bennett. Cook has it blocked by Hawkins, and the Redbirds are running. Wills back to Hawkins. And Deontay Hawkins can do that. The sophomore from Dayton, Ohio, showing his jump shot range.
That's Dan Muller basketball at its best. Create some offense from your defense, scoring in transition.
It's a 5-4 lead for Northern Iowa in the early going. Bohannon gets that one to fall, and Bohannon knocks down a three for the Panthers.
Dare I say, the shooter's touch as it kisses the glass.
Northern Iowa 2 for 2 from three-point range. 516 straight games in which Northern Iowa has made a three, and that one is knocked down. That one a two-pointer, and it's a 10-4 game. Northern Iowa has made 4 of 5 from the floor.
Illinois State needs to try and get the ball in the low post area, kind of where the Valley insignia is.
Wills with the miss. The foul inside on Washpin. So Northern Iowa getting off to a terrific start out of the block. It's a 10-4 lead. Northern Iowa by 6 in the early going at Illinois State. Closed captioning for tonight's telecast made possible by the Doubletree by Hilton Bloomington, the preferred hotel of the Missouri Valley Conference in the Illinois Twin Cities. Call 309-664-6446 or visit Doubletree.com to book your hotel rooms on your next trip to Bloomington Normal.
Tom, this play is something that Northern Iowa has not gotten enough of in conference play. And I'm not talking about the Bohannon three. He's a tremendous shooter. I'm talking about the screen down and the cut from Bohannon after the ball swings. They got good people movement, good ball movement, leads to great offensive rhythm.
Illinois State takes a punch in the first 5 minutes of the game.
And out of the timeout, Ben Jacobson switches back to his man-to-man.
That one won't go down. And Northern Iowa will take over with a 6-point lead. It's 10-4. A final from just moments ago. Loyola beats Drake 68-63. So Drake falls to 0-8 in conference play. Loyola improving to 2-6. Just a half game behind these Northern Iowa Panthers, 2-5.
Loyola seems to be playing better basketball right now. And they struggled at the beginning. A lot of high expectations for a team that won the CBI a year ago. And just about everybody back. But Porter Moser doing a good job of rallying the troops.
Northern Iowa's Bohannon with the miss. First three-point miss for Northern Iowa. 2 of 3 from beyond the arc now. 516 straight games with a three. It's the longest active streak in the Missouri Valley Conference.
They go back into the zone on the missed shot.
Lee with the drive and score.
Miscommunication as Lee able to get into the gap.
Lee, one of the toughest guards you'll find in the league. Bohannon finds an opening and hits the bucket.
I love the way Bohannon is moving without the basketball.
5 points for Bohannon. And a travel called. NCAA March Madness is headed to St. Louis. You can be there to share the experience with your family and friends. It's the 2016 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship first and second rounds, March 18th and 20th at Scottrade Center. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets to score your tickets and view hospitality options. Jesperson, the senior, controlling things for Northern Iowa, holding on to a 6-point lead. Bennett Cook, the sophomore, faces up. And Cook gets one to go. It's an 8-point lead.
That young man has improved tremendously during the conference season, shooting over 60%.
McCloud finds the bucket. A 3 for Justin McCloud, the senior.
Illinois State's going to need him to shoot the ball well if Northern Iowa continues to stay in the zone.
First 3 goes down for Illinois State, and Bohannon can't answer. Grabbing the rebound is Quentin Brewer.
Terrific transition defense by Northern Iowa after the miss. Got to make Illinois State play in the half court.
McCloud finding his rhythm from the outside. Illinois State on a quick 6-0 burst.
What a difference a day makes. McCloud was 0 for 4 from three-point line against Bradley a couple nights ago. He is feeling it right now.
Crowd comes alive at Redbird Arena. Jesperson to Washburn. Smacked away. And that one won't fall as the shot clock expires. Here comes Illinois State. Lee, McCloud. The heat check. Justin McCloud bangs home another 3.
Oh, he was on the Redbird wings on that shot.
Gets a smile out of Dan Muller on the Illinois State bench. Jesperson answers.
What you can do, I can do better, Jesperson says.
Panthers reclaim the lead.
Illinois State, you got to try and find McCloud. Is Ben Jacobson making sure he doesn't get a look. Oh, it's contagious.
Fireworks here in Bloomington Normal. The drive. The layup is good by Jesperson.
Tom, I know we told our audience at the outset that these were two teams that were struggling to score, but they're making liars out of us right now as the points are coming fast and furious.
The entertainment value, the miss there by Lee, out of bounds. It's Illinois State. What a start for these two teams. Northern Iowa leads on the road. These teams putting on a show in the early going at Redbird Arena. 7 3-pointers go down early as Northern Iowa leads Illinois State by 1. Our Missouri Valley Conference standings, a presentation of Purina Dog Chow. For every dog, there's a dog chow. Loyola knocked off Drake just a little while ago by 5, improving to 2 and 6. There's Illinois State at 4 and 3. The surprising one's Northern Iowa at 2 and 5.
Well, and this is a big game for Northern Iowa as they try and position themselves so they're not playing on the opening night, which they haven't done in a few years. So if you can steal one on the road, you can get back in the hunt if you hold serve at home.
Look at Barry Hinson at 6 and 1. The Salukis tied for second with Evansville, and Wichita State having a tremendous season again. The three-pointers, Coach.
Justin McCloud, who was 5 of 22 from the three-point line in conference play coming into this game, has buried a couple and has gotten Illinois State on a roll.
Northern Iowa with a 1-point advantage. What a first 10 minutes that was. That one batted inside, and a foul is going to be called on Hawkins. That is the first foul on Deontay Hawkins, second foul on Illinois State.
Jeremy Morgan appears to be okay. Although he turns the ball over, he was limping going into that timeout. But
McCloud is absolutely on fire.
There's nothing hurting about Justin McCloud.
He's 4 for 4 from 3.
You got to find him in transition, and at this point, you got to keep him from catching the basketball.
Whistle inside. They're going to call foul against Illinois State. Look at McCloud.
In transition, he's just spotting up. Forget about the college line or the NBA line. He is about 2 feet behind that. Yeah, he's a young man who had a very good year shooting the basketball last year, but has really struggled thus far. So perhaps this game will get him out of the doldrums.
The spin, Cook. He got away with a shuffle of the feet as Akun Purcell grabs the rebound. Devon Akun Purcell, leading scorer for Illinois State at a clip of 15.4 per game. They're trying to find McCloud any way they can. Akun Purcell in the baseline. Here comes Washman. Bohannon, quick pass into Cook. Bennett Cook on the board with 4 points now.
Really puts the pressure on the defense when your 5-man runs the floor like Cook does.
McIntosh. Mikhail McIntosh has 4 points.
Credit that open look to McCloud's hot streak because they were afraid to cover McIntosh and they were hedging out.
Bohannon with the drive. They're going to call a goaltend, and they do. So Bohannon credited with a couple of points, and we're tied again.
Bohannon showing that he's more than just a three-point shooter. As he puts the ball on the floor. The ball was coming down after it hit the glass. Good call by the official.
Metro Transit is offering an all-inclusive 5-day fan pass for just $23.50. The fan pass is valid for unlimited riding March 3rd through the 6th on Metrolink, Metro Bus, and the St. Louis Downtown Trolley during Arch Madness 2016. Purchase your fan pass at metrostore.org. Foul goes against Northern Iowa. They get Friedman. Second foul on the Panthers. Brewer couldn't grab the ball, but it stays with Illinois State.
Tom, earlier in the season, in the conference season, as a matter of fact, against Missouri State, Illinois State hits 15 threes here at home and sets the Redbird Arena record. McCloud keeps stroking it like he's doing now. He might set the record by himself.
McCloud at one point hit 3 threes in 1:22. Akun Purcell can't get that one. Look at the hustle by McIntosh. And here's Wills. He's Mr. Hustle for this Illinois State team. They love him here. Akun Purcell. Wills. Brewer. Putback. Redbirds up by 2.
And that's how you create points in the paint when you don't have a true 5-man. Go to the offensive glass.
Brewer, the transfer from Bethune-Cookman, might be their best rebounder, maybe their best post defender. He is working over Friedman.
Illinois State in the 2-3 zone now. They're just trying to keep the ball on the perimeter.
Timeout on the floor. After the foul, it's a 2-point lead for Illinois State.
Today's Missouri Valley Conference legend is Illinois State's Osiris Eldridge. A native of Chicago, Eldridge was the 3-time first-team All-Conference choice with the Redbirds. The 2007 NBC Freshman of the Year, Eldridge compiled 1,838 points and 181 steals. Leading ISU to back-to-back Arch Madness title games, Eldridge was named the most outstanding player of the 2009 State Farm NBC tournament.
Northern Iowa has shot 59% from the floor, but trails at Illinois State by 2. Neither team has shot a free throw. It's been all threes and rebounds and layups and running up and down the floor. Exciting stuff. Looking for something to do after the games during Arch Madness. The beautiful Grand Hall at St. Louis Union Station comes to life with a spectacular indoor light show every night. Enjoy cocktails and small plates, along with the 3D panoramic show from 5 to 10 p.m. at Union Station. Visit grandhall-stl.com for details.
Gotta love the small plates. If you're not too hungry, or if you're really hungry, you get 2 small plates.
Small plates and a light show. It really is a great show at the Grand Hall. What a job they've done with Union Station. Washburn and Bohannon. The seniors, along with Friedman with the turnaround, and Northern Iowa has tied it up again.
Friedman has been playing much better as of late. As Coach Jacobson said, he's been having some great practices as well, and you can see a little change in the Northern Iowa defense, looking to try and trap the basketball.
McIntosh with some nifty ball handling, and that one goes down. Mikhail McIntosh with 6 points and a chance to earn a 3-point play.
McIntosh has really developed into a all-around offensive player this year. Able to put the ball on the floor, which he was able to do a year ago. He's increased his range. He had 5 threes against Southern Illinois early in the conference season, but he's also a terrific offensive rebounder. I just like the tenacity that he plays with.
The 3-point play for McIntosh. There's your first free throw shot of the day.
Token pressure from Illinois State, something they went to in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the Bradley game the other day to shorten it.
The miss, the putback, a lid on the basket for Carlson. Akun Purcell. And they reset.
Got a mismatch size-wise if Hawkins or Brewer can get a post up. Brewer being guarded by Washburn.
Whistle, and we're going back the other way. It'll be Northern Iowa basketball. Stay tuned for our halftime report, a presentation of State Farm, which reminds you, we exist to assist.
Brewer knew that he had the mismatch and he just stayed in that paint a little bit too long.
The purple uniforms of Northern Iowa and the retro striped shorts and the white tops for Illinois State. That one in and out for Bohannon. Going back to the 70s here on Doug Collins Court. Retro day at Redbird Arena. Wills. Yes. Tony Wills gets on the board. He's part of the party. Gets a 3. First points for Wills. Bohannon to Washpin. Answers. Wes Washpin now with 7 points. We've had 5 lead changes already. We've been tied 3 times. The spin, and we're going back the other way. A travel called against McIntosh.
Tom, what you're going to see here is terrific help side defense by Northern Iowa on the dribble penetration. 2 guys help over. They force McIntosh to travel.
We've had 24 total field goals in the game. 10 are 3-pointers. 4 threes made by Justin McCloud. He's in the game for Illinois State. That's already a season high for him. 12 points. And a whistle. It's going to go against Northern Iowa. Register to win a St. Louis Arch Madness VIP package, including all session tickets for the State Farm MVC Men's Basketball Tournament, hotel accommodations, and tickets to St. Louis area attractions. Log on to ExploreSt.Louis.com for complete details. Where will Northern Iowa be seated in Arch Madness? Akun Purcell. Where will Illinois State be, for that matter?
Well, these are 2 very dangerous teams because they're so versatile. They can shoot the 3, and as you saw in that last possession, excellent high-low offense.
Bohannon for 3. And Cook keeps it alive. He'll take it. Bennett Cook. The turnaround crowd wanted to travel.
Like the aggressiveness of Bennett Cook.
McIntosh with an aggressive move. He goes in.
Bennett Cook showing the rodeo has come to normal.
Great game at Redbird Arena. Illinois State with a 3-point lead on Northern Iowa. When the NBC TV network crew takes to the road, it considers these properties home. These hotels consistently support the conference and its 10-member institutions. Please call or visit the websites of these properties when making plans to follow your favorite team away from home. The Redbirds and Panthers have put on a show, and so far, 6 of 12 from 3 for Illinois State, 4 of 9 from 3 for Northern Iowa. 10 threes have gone. That's the only thing that hasn't been retro in this game. But the 3 ball has been big here in 2016.
Well, as advertised, 2 of the best 3-point shooting teams in the conference. They're not letting us down. We got Justin McCloud back in the game, who was on fire. 4 for 4 from the 3-point line. We'll see if he still stays red hot.
McIntosh has been very impressive. He has 9 points. That matches his season average. Averaging 9.6. Bohannon looked inside to Cook, but Akun Purcell is all over him. Jesperson nearly lost it. Bohannon goes back to Cook. Now it's Jesperson. So good ball movement by Northern Iowa.
Cook doing an excellent job of keeping his head up, looking for the open man.
McIntosh again. Aggressive, 11 points.
Dan Moa doing a good job of isolating Jesperson on McIntosh, and McIntosh unable to keep, or I should say Jesperson unable to keep McIntosh out of the lane.
Yeah, McIntosh is only a sophomore, 6'7" forward. Still just the second leading scorer for Illinois State as the Redbirds get the ball back. It's Justin McClound leading all scorers with 12 points, 4 of 4 from three-point range.
Some indecision by Washburn on the post pass. He really needed to take one or two dribbles towards the baseline and give himself a better angle as the defender was on that top side of Cook, but instead he just chose to throw it away from Cook, hoping that Cook would go get it. He didn't. Turnover.
McIntosh takes a seat along with Hawkins and Akun Purcell. McIntosh with 11 points today. He only had 2 points against Bradley, 1 of 6 from the floor.
It's a good bounce-back game from McIntosh. Shows the confidence that Dan Muller has in his sophomore.
Will's back in the game. Takes it from Lee. Banyard flipped it back out. Shot clock at 5. Lee to Banyard. Jesperson grabs the rebound. Illinois State has out-rebounded Northern Iowa 15-9 here in the first half. Here's Morgan, has yet to get on the board, has yet to take a shot. Definitely doesn't seem like himself. Washburn, yes, he does look like himself.
He seems like himself.
That's a Washburn shot, isn't it?
It certainly is. Get you back on his heels.
Lee goes into him, and a foul is called on a Washburn. Look at this shot.
This is Wes Washburn at his best. He gets the defenders on his heels, and then a little bit of a fadeaway as he gets good elevation on his jump shot.
Exciting player. Certainly, Northern Iowa goes as he goes. And he has 9 points.
Well, that's very true. And you mentioned Jeremy Morgan not having taken a shot, even though we talked about him at the outset. A couple of games ago, he went in for a dunk and got knocked to the floor, and in trying to break his fall, he put his hand back, and they thought his wrist was broken. And you can see he's wearing a brace on his wrist, and he's playing through some pain. And he's a guy, even if he's not scoring, he does a lot of different things. You got to have him on the floor.
Lee, a 69% free throw shooter, makes both of those. Illinois State is perfect from the line, 5 of 5. Northern Iowa has yet to get to the free throw line. Illinois State on the season, just a 61% shooting team from the free throw line. So a good start there. Cook tries to go around 2 Redbirds and can't, but traveling, trying to save it, was McIntosh. It'll stay with Northern Iowa. You see Brewer was there, and they call a travel there on McIntosh. Northern Iowa ball, down by 5. McIntosh sticking with Bohannon. Cook with the jump hook. Bennett Cook chiming in with 8 points today, 4 of 7 from the floor to go along with 3 rebounds and an assist. Akun Purcell stopped by Morgan on the baseline. Under a minute. A great game so far as Lee can't get it. Brewer. And he's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. Quentin Brewer, the 6'8" redshirt senior from Atlanta. We mentioned the transfer from Bethune-Cookman. Big, strong forward. They love his presence inside. Brewer, a good free throw shooter at 74%. So 41.9 on the clock. Illinois State with a 3-point lead, trying to go up 4. And they do. What's your strategy here with Northern Iowa, Coach?
Well, with the foul 94 feet from the basket, that will drive a coach crazy. But the good news for Illinois State and Dan Muller is they aren't in the bonus yet. But what it effectively does, Ben Jacobson had a decision to make. He could have gone 2 for 1, but now with the foul, a little shorter clock. If you're Northern Iowa, you got to try and move the basketball. They've been very effective getting the ball into Cook and then playing from there.
Lohaus wants a timeout as he glanced up at the clock. Shot clock at 12, 21 and a half on the game clock. 2 fouls apiece on McIntosh and Hawkins, so a costly foul there on McIntosh, far away from the basket. They'll be sitting in this final play, but 5 team fouls, as Coach mentioned, on Illinois State. 7 for Northern Iowa. Foul trouble for Northern Iowa. 2 fouls for Wes Washburn here in the first half.
Well, if you're Illinois State, you still have a foul to give. If you get beat off the dribble, you can waste one as long as the ball handler is not rising up for his shot, and it will take Northern Iowa out of their last second play. But if you're Illinois State, you just play hard defense, keep the ball in front of you, and make sure that you challenge the shot, rebound the basketball.
Northern Iowa shooting 59% from the floor in the first half, but down by 4. That's how good Illinois State's been as Morgan gets on the board. Cuts it to 2. Final moments. Lee with 3 seconds. The miss. Akun Purcell can't follow. And what a half here at Redbird Arena. Illinois State has the lead at the break by 2 on Northern Iowa. Terrific matchup between these two teams. Northern Iowa at 2-5, needing a win. Now it's time to check in with the coach. It's today's Casey's General Store plans for the second half. Here's Rich Savosa.
Coach, your changing defenses seem to keep Northern Iowa off balance in the first half. Will we see more of that in the second half?
I think so. Either way, they're hurting us inside. Cook is really playing well. Their big guys are hurting us, zone and man, but I do think keeping them off balance might be the best thing.
Offensively, how pleased were you to see Justin McCloud knock some shots down and then McIntosh have a good bounce-back game offensively?
Yeah, really good, because Justin works as hard as anybody. He deserves to have this kind of success. He's a great shooter, struggled. Obviously, those threes really brought us back.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Z, thank you. Our chat with Dan Muller brought to you by Casey's General Store, famous for pizza. Illinois State on the strength of 6 3-pointers, 4 of them from Justin McCloud. A 2-point lead at the break on Northern Iowa. Back for our State Farm halftime report after this. Welcome to our halftime report, a presentation of State Farm, which reminds you we exist to assist. Illinois State leads Northern Iowa by 2 here at Redbird Arena with Rich Savosik. I'm Tom Ackerman. Well, Northern Iowa hit its last 5 shots. Northern Iowa is shooting 61% from the floor. They're down in this game?
And I would normally say that Dan Muller would be telling his team, hey, they can't keep up that shooting. But Northern Iowa is getting too many open looks. Illinois State needs to tighten up their defense and continue to push the basketball on the offensive end. They've been their most effective when they have scored in transition.
How about Justin McCloud? He's 4 for 4 from 3-point range. He's knocking them down. To be in that moment had to have been special, yet Northern Iowa found a way to quiet it just for a little bit. And Illinois State's been quiet here late in the first half.
McCloud came out of the gate shooting the ball extremely well. And as Dan Muller said, it's encouraging when a guy who works that hard gets paid off. Then again, Northern Iowa made some defensive changes. McCloud didn't get the open looks in the last 5-6 minutes of the half, so he's going to have to work a little bit harder to get an open shot in the second half.
What a first half that was. Let's have a second half that good. 40-38, Illinois State with the lead on Northern Iowa. Back with more of our State Farm halftime report after this. A terrific Valley matchup here at Redbird Arena. Illinois State leads Northern Iowa by 2 at the break. Welcome back to our halftime report, a presentation of State Farm, which reminds you, we exist to assist. Let's take a look at our halftime stats. A production of the Doubletree by Hilton Bloomington, the preferred hotel of the Missouri Valley Conference in the Illinois Twin Cities. Call 309-664-6446 or visit Doubletree.com to book your hotel rooms on your next trip to Bloomington Normal.
Tom, as you look at these stats, the one thing that would be disturbing if I'm the Northern Iowa coach, that's you have been to the foul line 0 times. You've got to try and figure out how to get to the free throw line, whether it's throw the ball back into Cook, get something, a foul off of the drive. That's going to be key in this second half. Can Northern Iowa get to the foul line?
Out rebounding Northern Iowa 17-9. Look at those bench points. It has been all about the Illinois State depth to this point. A lot of it coming from McCloud with 12 points, all on three-pointers. What a first half. We're at halftime. Our State Farm halftime report continues in a moment. Illinois State by 2. 2-point lead at the half. Welcome back to our halftime report, a presentation of State Farm, which reminds you we exist to assist. It's time to check in with head coach Ben Jacobson for the Casey's General Store plans for the second half. Here's Rich Savosic.
Coach, offensively in that first half, you shoot 60%. Paul Jesperson hits his first couple of threes. How good did that make you feel?
Yeah, that was good to see. Feel good for the guys. We've struggled offensively a little bit in our last 2 or 3 games, and to be able to move the ball, see Paul make a couple shots, see some other guys. I thought Wes had a really good first half, made a couple late clock shots. That was good for us. We needed that.
Defensively, Illinois State puts up 40 points in the first half. What adjustments will you make in the second half?
You know, McCloud comes out and he goes 4-4, and we know he's a very good shooter. But his last 2 were pretty deep. Outside of him and a couple offensive rebounds, it wasn't a bad half for us defensively. We're going to have to find McCloud. We're going to have to rebound better.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Our thanks to the coach. Our chat with the coaches brought to you by Casey's General Store, famous for pizza. The students have received their balloons. It's time to turn it on here in the second half for the Illinois State fans. Meanwhile, Northern Iowa's coach Ben Jacobson looked very pleased with that first half, and has to be. What a great offensive output for his team.
They have really struggled in Valley play from the offensive end. Paul Jesperson especially, although today he's 4 for 5, his best shooting performance thus far since December 30th.
Aetna proudly presents the second half of the Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week. Illinois State and Northern Iowa putting on a show in the first 20 minutes. And a 3-ball dropped by Deontay Hawkins.
Northern Iowa starts the second half like they started the game in a zone, this time a 3-2, and Hawkins buries it. Don't expect Northern Iowa to stay in that zone very long.
First 3 for Hawkins, 5 points for him, and Northern Iowa with a turnover. That's number 6 for Northern Iowa, 6 turnovers for Illinois State in the first half.
Great idea, just poor execution. They had cleared out the backside for Cook. Just an errant pass.
For those of you just joining us, it is Retro Day here at Redbird Arena. So those candy striped shorts, a tribute to the teams from the 1970s. They've been playing music and honoring teams of the past here on Doug Collins Court.
Back in the 70s, you had those free-flowing offensive days of Doug Collins here, and I think the Redbirds are reliving those right now.
Kuhn Purcell with the miss. Morgan Skies for the rebound. Good to see him jumping around. Bohannon, he can fire it from 3. Washman hounded by Lee. Jesperson They reverse it to Morgan. One-on-one with Akun Purcell. Now Washburn for three. Got it. Wes Washburn splashes a three.
Very important for Northern Iowa to maintain offensive rhythm. That's Northern Iowa basketball, a drive and a kick to an open shooter.
Washburn has 12. Wills with the miss. Morgan grabbed the loose ball, and Washburn pushes it up. Now whistle inside. They're going to call a foul on Hawkins. Hawkins now with 3 fouls. So they're going to get him out of the game. Quentin Brewer will check in for Illinois State.
Dan Muller's got to make a decision with Hawkins picking up his third. He's going to pull him, but the question is, how long will he keep him on the bench? If they can still maintain their offensive efficiency, he's got to be able to buy some time.
Bohannon found himself open, but missed the three. McIntosh to Akun Purcell. And Illinois State going cold for a moment as Washburn hits another basket. Washburn has 14. And Northern Iowa has tied the game.
Well, everyone knows that when Northern Iowa is at their best, it usually means Washburn is having a good offensive game like he is today.
Travel called on Wills, and Northern Iowa with a chance to jump back ahead. Metro Transit is offering an all-inclusive 5-day fan pass for just $23.50. Fan pass valid for unlimited riding March 3rd through the 6th on Metrolink, Metro Bus, and the St. Louis Downtown Trolley during Arch Madness 2016. Purchase your fan pass at metrostore.org. They loft one inside to Cook. McCloud able to corral it. And here comes Lee, and he backs it out. Look out, McCloud. Oh, his first miss. He missed one. Out of bounds. McCloud was 4 for 4 from 3 in the first half.
Well, you got to take that one if you're Justin McCloud, see where you're at with it. This time they had a Panther flying at him, but we've seen Northern Iowa clear out the backside for Bennett Cook and throw the ball away twice. Good offensive adjustment, just poor offensive execution.
After Hawkins made the three, it's been quiet for Illinois State, a scoring drought of about 3 minutes. Washburn can't get that one to go. Washburn has been sizzling from the floor, now 6 of 8 after that miss. McIntosh finds the cutter, but Wills couldn't make it. And here comes Northern Iowa in a tie game. Jesperson, long rebound grabbed by Lee. Illinois State team will come at you in waves.
Both teams relying on the jump shot. A little too much here to start the second half.
McIntosh, yes. Kyle McIntosh has 14 points. He gets into the three-point act. Kyle McIntosh becomes the 5th different Redbird to make a three. Illinois State with a 3-point lead at home against Northern Iowa. Great game here in Bloomington Normal. Today's Missouri Valley Conference scores, a presentation of Grinnell Mutual Insurance, where we provide a policy of working together. Loyola gets itself a win, improving to 2-6 in Valley play, and Wichita State still unbeaten in the Valley, beating Bradley. 4 players in double figures. Van Vliet with 13 points, also had 4 assists.
Tom, standstill jump shots, not good offense. Ball movement jump shots are good offense. And you can see the ball go inside and out. They make the extra pass, and you get offensive rhythm. And when that happens, the basketball gods reward you. The right guy taking a three-pointer in McIntosh, the ball moved, everybody got involved. 3 points, Redbirds.
Northern Iowa basketball out of the timeout. Foul was called on Paris Lee just before the break. His first. Team foul number 2 this half on Illinois State. No fouls so far this half for Northern Iowa. Morgan, nice turnaround by Jeremy Morgan. He has 4 points. Cuts it to 1. Lee. Both of these teams feeling it right now. Paris Lee hits the 3.
That's good defense, but even better offense, making the challenge jump shot.
Illinois State is 8 of 19 from three-point range. Washburn with the drive, a strong drive, pushes Lee out of the way and scores.
And Washburn showing the ability to use his right hand.
Lee finds Banyard. Northern Iowa trying to lock down defensively. Banyard with the left hand, and Morgan grabs the board. 6 rebounds for Morgan. Misses the baseline shot, does Morgan, and here's Lee. Illinois State hanging on to a 2-point lead. Lee gets the kiss off the glass.
Perfect example of you don't have to be the fastest guy on the floor. Great change of pace by Paris Lee.
What a tough player he is. Always has been. Never afraid to mix it up. Morgan tries a 3. That one is off. The students let him know about it. Illinois State's largest lead was 6 at the 5:56 mark of the first half, leading by 4 now. And Jesperson grabs the board off the miss from McIntosh. Jesperson can't get the bounce. Foul called on Illinois State. They'll get Brewer. For Brewer, that's number 2. And it's the 3rd foul on Illinois State.
Tom, on that last possession, that's the type of open jump shot in transition that Jesperson was making early in the season. And he had a great look at it, just couldn't finish it. But Friedman doing a terrific job of battling for the offensive glass. He gives the Panthers another possession.
Northern Iowa scored 9 points this half. 7 have come from Wes Washburn, who misses there. Ball goes out of bounds back to Illinois State. Washburn was absolutely crushed as he came down.
There is some banging going on inside. It's kind of SEAL Team 6 basketball in the paint right now.
They're letting it go. No fouls have been whistled on Northern Iowa in this half, and just 2 on Illinois State. Hawkins, he can make those. Oh, Akun Purcell. Equals the largest lead of the game for the Redbirds.
It's where he is so dangerous.
Ben Jacobson wants a timeout. It's a 6-point lead for Illinois State. Illinois State with a 6-point lead on Northern Iowa. We're under 12 minutes in the ball game. It's been a great one here at Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois. Today's MVC Scholar Athlete of the game is Illinois State's Jacob Hendren, a senior pitcher. He was 10-2 with 99 strikeouts and a 2.80 ERA in 2015, a 3.89 cumulative grade point average in mathematics, earning All-America status and named the 2015 MVC Newcomer of the Year. Congratulations to our Scholar Athlete of the game, Jacob Hendren. Retro day at Redbird Arena in Illinois State with a 6-point lead. Northern Iowa has struggled to score in the last few minutes. Washburn's really been their scorer. Here's a 3 missed by Washburn, and McCloud grabs the board.
Terrific defense out of that timeout by Illinois State. Excellent job by their staff in setting up the scouting report, reading the play.
Hawkins gets the bounce and the bucket over Cook.
Tom, that's what we talked about earlier in the game. They don't play with a legitimate postman, but a guy like Hawkins, Akun Purcell, they can create points in the paint.
That one's knocked out of the hand of Jesperson. It'll be Northern Iowa ball when we come back. Doug Collins Court, Illinois State with the lead on Northern Iowa, 55-47 here at Redbird Arena. The 2016 St. Louis Cardinals season is just around the corner. 10 and 5 game packs and all-inclusive tickets are on sale now. Get yours today at cardinals.com. The Redbirds here at Illinois State. Biggest lead of the game, 8 points, Rich Savosic.
Well, Tom, 29 minutes into the game, and Northern Iowa has not shot a free throw. They haven't been able to put the type of pressure on the Illinois State defense in the half court to create some foul situations.
Northern Iowa, cold. 0 of 5 from the floor in the last few minutes, and 2 of its last 9 have gone down. Cook looks for an open man. Jesperson, who runs right into Akun Purcell. And they get Devon with a foul.
Now, Akun Purcell goes flying. Ooh, I'm not sure on that one.
He raised up that forearm.
That was a tough call, but Akun Purcell hit the deck. I always taught my players, you feel contact, you hit the ground, you'll get the call.
See some of that tomorrow in the NFC Championship. That's some contact right there. Jesperson driving on 2 Redbirds, backs out. Wills on him, crowd loves it. Tries to throw it to Washburn, and they're going to give that ball to Illinois State.
Illinois State defense has been terrific all night long at pressuring the basketball. They have done an excellent job, and on that possession, they had him pinned in the corner.
Tony Wills has that football player mentality. He was all over the offensive players. A whistle inside on Northern Iowa. Illinois State on a 6-0 run, trying to pull away here. The MVC fan hangout is the perfect gathering place before and after games during Arch Madness. It's located at Ballpark Village in downtown St. Louis, just across the street from Busch Stadium. For additional information, visit archmadness.com/fans. Deontay Hawkins hits the free throw. Hawkins, a good free throw shooter at 74%. This Illinois State team does struggle from the line. It's one of their issues, 62% from the line as a team.
It's a good offensive adjustment, though, for the Redbirds. They have not settled for jump shots. They have tried to attack the goal either with a post feed or off the bounce.
They're 8 for 9 from the line today, and they've stretched the lead to 10. Panthers need some offense, and they need it quickly. Cook thought he was fouled. Hawkins grabbed it, and here's Lee with a double-digit lead. Remember that great game Cook had when we were in Terre Haute, and he was smacked in the bridge of the nose early in the second half, and really Indiana State found a way to neutralize him. Same thing has kind of happened here. We haven't heard a lot from Cook as McIntosh just throws a Panther to the hardwood. Whistled for the foul.
Bohannon doing a good job of getting his body into McIntosh and forcing him to foul. But as you talk about Cook, he has struggled, and a lot of it has been the physicality. He has 3 or 4 inches on the defender, but just doesn't have the strength yet to handle the physical play consistently.
He is a good player. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, he's going to be a terrific player before it's all said and done, much like his 2 older brothers, Adam and Jake.
Carlson missing the 3. Here's McIntosh.
Not sure that that's the shot that Ben Jacobson wanted on that possession.
They swing it to Wills. Long rebound, and settling things down is Lohaus. Bohannon can't get the 3 to go, and Morgan grabs the rebound. Morgan working on Banyard now. Northern Iowa's drought now at 6 minutes. Washpin has been their source of offense. He was hit on the shot, and a foul is called. A little late, but it is called.
You'll see Washpin pull up and looks to have gotten him on the hand. I know the fans aren't happy with it because it was a little delayed, but better to get it right.
First free throw attempt for Northern Iowa is made by Wes Washpin. First trip to the line today. For Wills, that was his first foul of the game. 7th foul at Illinois State, and Washpin makes both free throws. Meanwhile, Northern Iowa has only committed 1 foul this half.
Tom, a key for Illinois State now with this 8-point lead is they can't get too cautious. They still need to stay in that attack mode. And that's a perfect example. Hawkins trying to get to the rim.
There's another foul called on Northern Iowa. That one on Bohannon.
You're going to see Akun Purcell put his head down, draw the foul.
Akun Purcell finds McIntosh, lost it, flies into the Illinois State bench, and Wills grabs it. What a save by McIntosh. Shot clock under 10. McIntosh. Oh, what a sequence that was. Mikhail McIntosh buries the 3. He has 17. Lohaus misses the rim. McIntosh settles it down with Wills.
They'll go right back to McIntosh.
Morgan took it away from Akun Purcell. Morgan tries to settle things down, and they are missing shots and in some cases missing the rim for Northern Iowa.
And Northern Iowa is rattled offensively, settling for too many jump shots.
Northern Iowa 0 for its last 10 from the floor, and slipping and falling and grabbing his lower back is McIntosh. We'll take a look at him when we come back. Illinois State in control. Here in Bloomington Normal, the campus of Illinois State University, and the Redbirds lead Northern Iowa by 11. Largest lead of the game. Northern Iowa led by 8 in the first half. Illinois State led by 2 at the break on the strength of three-pointers. 10 of 25 from 3 for Illinois State, and a real struggle here in the second half, Z, for Northern Iowa. They're 0 for 10 recently from the floor, and 1 of 10 from 3 in this half.
And the thing that concerns, or would concern Ben Jacobson the most, is they have had no offensive rhythm. It's different when you're missing shots and you're moving the basketball, but they're taking quick threes in the half court. Wrong guys are shooting threes. Got to get that rhythm going back again.
Washburn with the drive, and he's fouled. The last basket made from the floor was Wes Washburn at the 14:30 mark. That was forever ago. And so Washburn, who's fouled by Hawkins, and that's his 4th.
Smart play by the senior. He knows his team is struggling offensively. Gets all the way to the rim, draws the foul. Get a couple of points with the clock stopped.
There goes Hawkins. Brewer into the game for Illinois State.
Dan Muller is not afraid to use his bench. He substitutes very freely, and his guys are really playing with terrific defensive intensity because of it.
20 points for Wes Washburn to lead all scorers, but Northern Iowa has work to do, down 10. McIntosh leads the Redbirds with 18.
Well, if you're going to double the post, and if you're Illinois State, you want to try and get your shooter on that side, preferably McCloud.
Lee flips it into the basket.
You know, Tom, Paris Lee has been asked to do so much more offensively this year with the graduation of Deshaun Knight, Bobby Hunter, and he's playing very well.
Carlson can't get it. There's Morgan bumped by McIntosh. He was waiting for him. The contact and the foul on Mikhail McIntosh. And that's his 4th.
Smart play by Morgan. He knew he had McIntosh up in the air. Just hold on to it, wait for the contact. McIntosh is going to have to take a seat on the bench for his 4th foul.
Akun Purcell checks into the game. Comes in for Wills. McIntosh stays in there for the moment with McCloud and Brewer and Paris Lee. Now here comes Nick Banyard as McIntosh grabs the rebound, and Banyard will have to wait.
Banyard was coming in for McIntosh, so going to gamble a little bit. If you're McIntosh, you got to make sure you don't do anything crazy on this possession and pick up that 5th foul.
Missed free throws by Morgan. And here comes Northern Iowa. A chance again to cut it to 10, maybe 9. Washburn. He's been the offense today. 20 points for Wes Washburn. Can't get that, and a foul call. They're going to get Carlson with the push underneath. That's the 2nd on Carlson. Team foul number 4 this half.
Tom, Northern Iowa has become very stationary and stagnant on the offensive end. And you see on that last possession, if you can keep Washburn in front of you, which Illinois State has done a pretty good job all game long, you force tough shots.
Northern Iowa 0 for its last 12 from the floor. 4 of 19 this half. 44% shooting for the game. Illinois State shooting 46%, but leading by 12.
Northern Iowa goes into the zone. You got to find McCloud.
McCloud hits the three. He's 5 of 6 from three-point range.
You got one job on the defensive end when you're in the zone. Find the shooter. And they only have one out there, and he buried it.
Washburn fouled as he drives in again. Last field goal at the 14:30 mark. That's how long it's been.
Good recognition by Illinois State, recognizing the zone, and McCloud from behind the zone. The defensive man, in this case, Bohannon, lost sight of him, and McCloud able to take advantage.
McCloud, one of 3 seniors on the roster. Akun Purcell is one, and Quentin Brewer is a redshirt senior. The miss by Washburn is his first from the free throw line today.
You can expect full court pressure on the made free throw. You've got to try and turn up the defensive intensity if you're Northern Iowa.
Under 5 minutes, Illinois State in control. Trying to go to 5 and 3 in the Valley. Lee lost it, gets it back. Spaniard for 3. Brewer had it knocked out of his hand by Jesperson. And Northern Iowa gets the ball.
Northern Iowa, you got your stop. Now you got to get your score.
Washburn to Lowhouse. And here's McCloud with the rebound.
Lowhouse, who has had 5 multiple three-point shot games, just struggling, missing his open look again.
Foul called on the shot there by Lee. More than 10 minutes without a field goal. Northern Iowa down 14. Illinois State has controlled this second half, led by 2 at the break, now up by 14 on Northern Iowa with 3:48 to go. Let's take a look at our game reset, made possible by Purina Dog Chow. For every dog, there's a dog chow. See the fouls, Northern Iowa with 1 to give. 2 timeouts remaining for Ben Jacobson, and the possession arrow in favor of the Panthers. So Paris Lee gets a couple of free throws. Fouled on the shot attempt just before the break. And Lee, perfect from the line today, 3 of 3. Illinois State 10 of 12 from the free throw line, 83%. .16 That's the lead for Illinois State with 3:40 to go.
Dan Muller picks up three-quarter court.
Bohannon hits the 3 and slices into the lead.
The first time that they actually got a drive and a kick out in a long, long time.
That's the first field goal since the 14:30 mark for Northern Iowa. Amazingly. Left alone is Wills. Lee with the shot clock at 2. Wills, what a day it's been for Illinois State. Another 3 goes down.
How about the perfect offensive possession if you're Dan Muller? You swing the ball, you go inside and out, and you bury a 3 as the horn goes off.
A dozen threes for the Redbirds today. That's the second one for Wills. Jesperson fouled. Jesperson will go to the line. He has 10 points. Take a look at this perfect possession.
Well, it starts with the post pass in the double team by Northern Iowa comes, and you're going to see as the ball skips out, and they're going to move it from side to side. You shift the defense, you get an open look. The bench loved it.
They talk about it all week in practice, and it comes to fruition. It's been a good, productive day for Illinois State with 2:40 to go. And a last gasp for Northern Iowa, the Valley's top three-point shooting team in terms of makes. Today has struggled from the three-point line, 6 of 21, 28%, 2 of 12 this half. Have to heat up in a hurry. Jesperson cuts it to a 14-point game.
And now it's time scoring situation for Illinois State. Take care of the basketball. No gambles on the passes. Possession is the most important thing.
Lee guarded by Washburn.
You're going to see a lot of space on the floor and try and get somebody off the dribble. This time Kuhn Purcell.
Almost
off
did
the
it
ball
again.
screen.
Missed the three at the buzzer on the shot clock. Bohannon the quick three. And Kuhn Purcell grabs it, and we're under 2 minutes.
Going to see a double team come. And a foul.
Today's date in MVC history is brought to you by the 2016 State Farm MVC Men's Basketball Tournament at Scott Trade Center in St. Louis. January 23rd, 2013, coming off the bench, Johnny Hill scored a game-high 18 points. Illinois State edged Indiana State 60-58 at Redbird Arena. The madness starts at the Arch on March 3rd through the 6th as Arch Madness returns to St. Louis for a 26th straight year. For more information, visit archmadness.com.
Tom, it's ironic you talk about Johnny Hill in that promo, and had an opportunity to talk with Mike Matthews before the game, the radio personality for Illinois State, and we were talking about Johnny Hill. He actually had transferred out of Illinois State. He's now finishing his career at Purdue, but I had an opportunity to talk to Johnny Hill earlier in the season, and he talked about Dan Muller being such a good guy, and he kind of made a mistake by transferring out because he didn't understand what Dan was trying to teach him. He was trying to teach him, help him become a man. And, you know, Johnny Hill, usually when somebody transfers out of a program, they don't talk very highly, but what he said about Dan Muller just is tremendous. And if you're a Redbird fan, you know your program is in great hands.
It's a 16-point lead for Illinois State. Paris Lee with 15 points now, as that one's missed by Carlson. The long pass up ahead to Hawkins, and throws it out of bounds. Nobody was there for Deontay Hawkins.
I thought you were going to catch that one, Tom.
It was too
I
low.
was open.
Table was in the way. A little higher, I got it. Washburn adds to his total now with 23 points. Once again, very good for Northern Iowa, but they have really struggled offensively, just out of sync in a long stretch without a basket. About 11 minutes without a basket here in the second half for one stretch, and that really did them in.
Northern Iowa has decided they're not going to try and extend this game. They're going to play it out.
Panthers are going to fall to 2-6 in Valley play, as that one is missed by Lee. Jesperson splashes the three. Jesperson with 15 points. 2-6 in Valley play. So right now, tied with Loyola near the bottom of the standings, with Drake, losing to Loyola today, both of those teams will be 2-6. Meanwhile, Illinois State improves to 5-3 in Valley play, and that gets them in the conversation.
Pretty good week for Illinois State. You beat your arch rival Bradley on the road, and then you come home, you take care of Northern Iowa, a team that had beaten you 4 straight times. So you're back in the hunt.
Indiana State has to deal with Evansville tomorrow. And if Indiana State drops that one, Illinois State moves into 4th place.
And we talked about it earlier. These are 2 very dangerous teams. Northern Iowa can take one thing out of this game. It's that Jesperson seemed to have come out of his shooting funk. And that's going to be key for the Panthers as they move on down the road.
Illinois State, with the win, would send Northern Iowa to its 4th straight loss. That's the first time in 5 years that Northern Iowa has suffered a 4-game losing streak. Doesn't happen very often to that man. Ben Jacobson has built a consistent winner at Northern Iowa. And this is a team that beat North Carolina, beat the #1 team in the nation earlier this year in a raucous house in Cedar Falls, beat Iowa State. Northern Iowa trying to find its rhythm and unable to here this afternoon as Bohannon buries a long 3 from just about the Redbird logo. Long pass ahead. Akun Purcell will back it out. They'll try to run out the clock on Northern Iowa. Illinois State, led by as many as 16, will close it out with a 76-67 victory here this afternoon at Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois. Terrific win for Dan Muller and his crew. Players of the game, a presentation of Aetna. At Aetna, we're working to create a better healthcare system for you. Get to know us at Aetna.com. Wes Washburn, fantastic, 23 points, but really the only source of offense for a long period of time. Mikhail McIntosh storms ahead with 18 points on 6 of 11 shooting. Knocked down a couple of threes. Let's go to Rich Sabosic with the winning coach.
Coach, heck of a week. You go on the road, you beat your arch rival, then you take care of Northern Iowa at home. Mikhail McIntosh. What can you say about him tonight?
Well, first of all, I thought we were going to play good basketball because we've been practicing at a high level. We've stayed together. The guys are starting to try to do everything we want. Mikhail's just a force. When he plays the right way, he plays on balance, keeps his mind in the game. He's very hard to stop. He can shoot it, he can drive it, he can post. Justin McCloud, an unbelievable game. Just down the line, that's a heck of a team we beat there. But great crowd, really proud of the team.
Coach, defensively, you shut them down in the second half. They were shooting 60%. What was the key in the second half defensively?
Well, number one, we stopped letting it come inside. I thought they wore down a little bit, and we talked about trying to do that. They have some guys that play heavy minutes. They were running around a lot. We kept moving guys in and stayed pretty fresh. So I just think we wore them down a little bit. All credit to the players.
Coach, you substitute as free as any coaches I've seen. It's like a hockey game sometimes. What's the confidence in your bench?
I'm a big Blackhawks fan. I guess that's what it is. We got a lot of guys that can make plays, a lot of guys that are very good players. One thing I do want to do, we had guys playing too many minutes for our losing streak stretch. So I'm trying to get these guys rest, get these guys breathers that play a lot of minutes, and I completely trust our bench.
Coach, great win tonight. Thank you.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. Dan Muller, the winning coach. Illinois State gets the win. The retro game here at Redbird Arena as Illinois State wins it 76-67. Again, Mikhail McIntosh with 18 points, the leading scorer. He fouled out of the game with several minutes to go and still finished with a strong game. And then Justin McCloud, 5 of 6 from three-point range. For McCloud, that ties a career best for him. That moment where he hit 3 threes in about a minute 20, Z, was remarkable.
a guy who has really struggled shooting the basketball this season, but is a good shooter. And one of the things that Dan Muller had talked about before the game with me is his guys, even in their losing streak, they continue to come in and work on the little things. And a guy like Justin McCloud, you saw it today, paid off.
A terrific win for Illinois State. How do you see this team right now? It seems like every year we talk about them as a dangerous team in Arch Madness, and I think that holds true today.
They're a dangerous team for a couple of reasons. They've got a combination of terrific athletes, but they also have very good shooters and guys who are versatile. You know, someone like a Kuhn Purcell who can make a three, but he can also post you up. Deontay Hawkins the same way. And if they start to get consistent play from a Justin McCloud, St. Louis is really going to be Arch Madness.
I love watching Mikhail McIntosh play. I told you that. We talked about him. It's just the toughness, the versatility. He does a lot of things.
Well, he's a guy who has improved tremendously from his freshman to sophomore year. And that play right there where he makes the hustle play, a lot of fans may not think about it, but he got an extra possession and he buries the three. That's so important. That's the little hustle plays that don't show up in the scorebook.
So you're Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa's not used to this. Not used to taking it on the chin. We'll see what they can do. A 4-game losing streak for the first time in 5 years. We appreciate Rich Savosic. Thanks again.
A great game today, and Ben Jacobson will rally the troops. He'll get them going.
For Coach Z, I'm Tom Ackerman. Our next game, Tuesday, January 26th, Drake here at Redbird Arena against Illinois State. Thanks for joining us, our Valley Game of the Week.